the speaking portion of the meeting, and our first speaker is Virginia Edwards. And Martha Goodrich is her evaluator. Would you please read her objectives?
Her objectives are to analyze the audience regarding her subject, to focus her presentation at the audience's level of understanding and knowledge, to build a supporting case for each major point using information gathered through research, and to effectively use at least one visual aid to enhance the audience understanding. And her time is 6 to 8 minutes.
6 to 8 minutes. Move this first so I don't forget. It doesn't like to move. Oops. That's okay. That's okay. It didn't even. Managing our financial health is important for all of us. Today, Virginia is going to talk about one factor in this process. An important number, Virginia Edwards. Virginia Edwards, an important number.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests. We all live in a world of numbers, and it gets more so, it seems like, every year. We have phone numbers, cell numbers, addresses. We have passwords. We have credit cards. We have a driver's license, very important social security number. But there's one number that affects all of us in our financial life, and that is our credit score. Now, lots of people don't think about this for a while. What is a credit score? A credit score is simply a numerical expression of your credit worthiness. In other words, it's an objective measure of risk. Credit scores are based on the reports from the 3 credit agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. There are a number of credit scores, but the most common one, and the one we usually all deal with, is the FICO score. FICO stands for the Fair Isaac Corporation. They are the people who developed the credit score, and the people who actually manage it, not just in the United States, but throughout the world. FICO scores range from 300 to 850. The median in the United States is 723. If you have a score less than 600, you are considered high risk. The dividing line between good and bad is 620. And if you have a score over 720, it's considered excellent. For some purposes, this uses 690. So why is all this important? Well, you say, well, I've already bought my house. Well, it isn't just for a mortgage or the credit cards, although that's the most common use. And it determines who gets credit, how much you get, and what kind of credit you get. But they're not the only people who use the FICO score. Mobile phone companies use it. Insurance companies use it. Landlords use it. Government agencies use it. Your employers use it. You ever heard of somebody being denied because of their credit score? I have. So what's in a credit score? This is a general percentage here. 35% is based on your payment history, how well you pay your bills. 30% is based on the amounts you owe. 15% is based on your credit history, the length of credit history. 10% is based on whatever new credit you might have opened recently, and 10% is based on the types of credit that you have. Now, there's no one of these factors that tips the scale on a score. They're all important, they're all used. However, the percentages may vary for certain types, groups in the population. For example, young adults who haven't had an opportunity yet to establish a whole lot of credit. We don't necessarily know what those scores are because, again, all of the calculations, percentages, factors used are all secret. They're controlled by the Fair Isaac Corporation, and we don't really know. They've been doing this, developing, and they change it over time. They're not going to tell us how they change it, but they do. And sometimes there is information about what you can do if they have used a different method of changing it. Now, FICO looks only at those credit reports, but you need to remember that if you are applying for a loan, a mortgage, that the lender is going to look at other stuff. The lender is going to look at your income, how long you've been in your job, and what kind of credit you're looking for. What's not in this score? What's not in this score is any impact of race, religion, creed, national origin, etc., age, where you live, where, if you have child support, what your salary is, what your occupation is. None of that's included in here. Certain inquiries are not reflected on the FICO score. Most of them are. If you check your own FICO score, that's okay, unless you're doing it every day. The people that most helpfully send you all those credit cards that are pre-approved in the mail that we don't want, those inquiries don't count. And your employer's inquiries do not count. Now, the credit score is a snapshot in time. Probably all of us over our lifetimes, depending on how old we are, have had a bunch of credit scores. They have gone up and down and around, and of course as things have changed, they have factored in. What if you have a credit score that you'd like to raise that isn't as high as you want it to be? It's possible to do that. It's not a quick fix. There is no quick fix ever in this thing. But it is possible with persistence to change your credit score. First of all, you pay your bills on time. That's most obvious. If you have missed payments, you're behind on something, get it current and keep it current. If your income drops, there's some other factor, call the creditors. See if you can work out something with them. There are also legitimate credit counselors, but I need to tell you that the majority of them sitting out there that you've probably heard about aren't, and you need to be very careful of those. Keep balances low on credit cards and revolving accounts. Pay off debt, but don't move it around. Don't open a credit card in order to pay off another one. That won't help. That won't help. They'll figure that out. Don't close a bunch of credit cards all at once. If you got 40, you want to close a few, but in general, that affects it negatively. Don't open ones. And if you are going to rate shop, you're going to buy a car, and you're going to go around, they're going to be checking your credit, try to do it in a focused period of time, preferably a month, so that it doesn't get out of hand and then they find all this stuff. Bottom line is, also you need to pay attention to your credit score, even if you don't think you're going to use it, because if it gets out of hand, then it's harder. They make mistakes. Things get reported incorrectly to those credit bureaus. It is not easy to get them changed, but it is possible. If you can write to the credit bureaus and you can document that somebody reported that you didn't really make that late payment, or you paid the payments. I know people who've been through that process. It's not easy, but it can be done. So It's important to all of us. What we need to do is take charge, keep current, and get online with all of this. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Virginia, very, very informative information.